All right. Hi, everyone, again. Good evening. So, my Canva is back up, and I'm going to share my screen now, and then we can move on from where we stopped yesterday. Okay. All right. So, we stopped at designing a logo for the brand Fabulous, which is supposed to be a fashion brand for high-end women 26 to 35, effortless and simple personality, ease, stressless, convenience, quality, and all the rest. All right. Now, so yeah. Anyway, so this is what I ended up with personally, right? And every other person was supposed to design something for themselves as well. And I'm going to continue with this, and then we'll move on to designing other brand collaterals, okay? From business cards, letterhead, every other single thing. All right. Let me know if you have any questions as we go over all the different brand collaterals. Okay. So now let me explain mine. So based on many of the feedbacks that we got, right? For me, what was going to be the most outstanding feature, right? Which is something that we realized was ease, stresslessness, convenience, and quality. And for me, the expression of that is in very, very easy straight lines, right? Straight lines are like some of the easiest things to do, draw or make. Okay. So you might have something different from that. Of course, there's no one answer fits all for this, right? So this is just my personal interpretation, and whatever interpretation you gave yours, as long as it's a sellable story to your customer, to your client's customer and your client as well, because I mean, this is not mathematics where you have 1 + 1 is always equal to 2. Okay. As long as you have a story that can be sold or an idea that can be bought. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Let me know if you understood what I've said so far before we continue moving forward.
I have a question
Okay.
about the style. Like,
Okay.
are they equal to each other?
Yeah, they are. And what I did is I tried to okay, so I think I moved it a bit, right? So I tried to centralize them with the 4 different. So if you see this, okay, so this must have moved while I was moving things around. So it's supposed to flush with the last this 4, okay, and the first 4. Okay, so there's some kind of symmetry. So the thing is, if I was going to create a rectangle and do something directly divisible by 2, right? It might not end up in the middle because the words are not exactly the same size of fonts all the way, especially because of this O here. Okay, O's and W's many times are usually larger than some other fonts. Okay, so my goal was to create a form of optical symmetry, right? Optical symmetry in the sense that these 2 lines might not be the exact same size, okay, when you lay them side by side, but they are the exact same size with your eyes, when you look at them, in the sense that it helps when you divide the words into 2, it's covering both, because it's dividing both the words into 2. Okay, I don't know if you understand that and if that's clear enough, or if that answers the question you're asking.
Yes, that's exactly what I was wondering. I wanted to
Okay,
know what your
okay,
thought process
okay,
was.
okay, okay, yeah. So, all right. So we can move on. Any other question before we move? Okay, so what are the brand collaterals that we are expected to create for our brand? If you want to know the brand collaterals, like I usually and always advise you to do, if you go online, you'll find a list of all of them, but you'll also find a list of most of them here on Canva. Okay, so no need to go too far. All right, so we just go to create a new design, and you see almost every possible.
What do you mean by collateral?
Okay, sorry. Collaterals are okay. So collaterals are, now trying to define it in actual technical terms is not something that I know in my head, but collaterals are just like all those things like business card, letterhead, Facebook banner, I mean, all the other things apart from your logo that defines your brand, basically. Okay. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So basically, every form of template that you
don't think that your logo is going to go on.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So, well, sometimes they're also called like your brand stationery, right? But some other times they can expand beyond the scope of stationery into some things that are not exactly stationery. So most times people use the word collateral, and I don't even realize how we started using that word, but it's something that I've seen in most places where I read about design. So I just picked it up. All right, so here you can see all the different possible things that you can create. Okay, and we're going to go one by one. We'll create all the designs that are relevant to us, and I'll go about explaining why we're creating those things the way we're creating them. Okay, and like I said earlier, every single time you're designing because you want to communicate an idea. So the way you design an Instagram story would obviously be different from the way you design a business card, because they are performing two different functions. Number two is also the fact that they are functioning in two different realms. When I say realms, I mean one is typically digitally used, the other is typically used in print media. Okay, so there might be some factors you want to consider in designing both items. All right, now before we even go into our brand collateral, there's something called a brand guide. Okay, and we're going to develop a brand guide for our brand as well, so where we have to come up with our colors, for our brand font, and all of those things. Okay, so before we do our brand collaterals, we'll come up with our brand guide, and then we have a good direction for where we are going with this brand, so that if any other person continues to work with this brand, they know exactly what they should be doing, how they should go about it, and so they don't mess up with our brand. Okay. All right. So now there's something else that I also want to introduce you to. When it comes to creating a logo, right? Many times you might also want to create an alternate logo. Okay. What do I mean by an alternate logo? So for example, this is fabulous, right? If I duplicate this page now, because this logo, because of the way it's sized, right, it most likely is going to work very perfectly in landscape realms, but it will not work very well in portrait realms. Okay, so many times many logos have variations. Okay, so what would the variation to this logo look like? It would look something like this. So let's say I'm going to have this on another line, right? Ungroup this and continue this. Okay. Okay, so now, so what I'm doing is I'm creating an alternate version there's a more condensed version that will work in a situation where we don't have a lot of horizontal space. All right. Now, some logos might not be able to have an alternate version because of the way the icon is, or because of the way the combination of the icon and the text are arranged. Okay, so in some cases it's almost not feasible, but in many other cases they're usually feasible. So this is the case for this logo. So here we have font size is 42.8, so I'm just going to adjust this to 42.8. Okay, now, okay, so I want to make sure that the size of the logo is that they are flushing properly. Okay, so yes, they are. Feels like there's too much space between L and O. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so I'm just going to take a screenshot from here so that I can compare it to ensure that they look exactly the same. I might not be able to trust my eyes sometimes, so I'm just going to bring it under. And so if you notice what's happening, this is an image. This is a screenshot I took from up here just to ensure that the spacing is exactly the same, both in the landscape and the portrait version of the logo. Okay. So let me change the color of the text so that they're different enough for me to identify. Okay, so yeah, yeah, we're pretty much there. Okay, so yeah, we have it very well done. Okay, now what we'll have to do is so because I want to replicate the exact same style up and down, so I'm just going to keep the line under U and S, okay, and then keep it up here under F and A, okay, because I'm trying to retain the exact same style. Okay, so like I said, they are not exactly the same size, but because I'm trying to create an optical symmetry, so I just need to make them look the same. Okay, so there you go. Extend and extend. Okay, and then now I just need to confirm the size in terms of the distance between the text and the line under to ensure that they are the exact same. Okay. So I'm going to pick you up from here so that I maintain the exact same size. Okay, so I'm going to come back here to ensure, okay, good. I'll do that here. Good. And then do that here. So all these details are really important because they are the things that help make your logo look very, 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 very professionally done, right? All those tiny attention to details you can imagine your logo without them, but you realize that your logo is much better with them. Okay, so now I need to flush these two to be on the exact same line. Okay, and I'm going to have to, because of some of the adjustments that I've made, I'm going to have to readjust what I did before. So there we go. Okay, good. And then, so yeah, I need to adjust this a bit. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I hope you understand what's going on with all the different adjustments of sizing and, just ensuring that everything is as sharp as possible. Okay. So I'm going to centralize everything. Now, so this is the exact same logo, but I have an alternate version. Okay. So in some cases, let's say, let's assume this was our logo, right? Imagine we had the logo this way. Sometimes you might have an alternate version that looks something like this here, all right? And then let's say we actually had, this is just for an example, right? Many times when you have logos like this, most times you would literally just need to make a rearrangement of the icons. So let's say you have, hold on, let's say you have this, right? And it's not something that you have to do every single time. Now, if you look at this logo, for example, it's a combination mark. Okay, so when you look at it, it's almost like a rectangle. To be honest, you might not need when I say need, I mean need. Doesn't mean that it's not possible for you to still have an alternate version, but it might not be necessary because it's a rectangle and it can work. In landscape, the rectangle, it's almost a square. So in landscape and portrait, it will still look almost exactly the same. So there's no difference, right? And you're going to also have a primary and a secondary logo, of course. So in this context, this is our primary logo, right? And this is the secondary logo, okay? So there we have it. All right, so maybe if, let me go online, let me come here and find, all right, so let's assume that this was our logo, Tooth House, right? So if you imagine you wanted to create an alternate logo with this, what you will have is something like this: Tooth House Dental Clinic. And then you would have something that looks like this, but then you will ensure that everything flushes up to down. Okay, so yeah, something like this, the same logo, just different arrangements. Okay, let me know if you understand what I just did. Is anybody there?
Yeah. Yes, I understand.
Good stuff. All right, so so let's proceed. Now we have our logo files. All right, next we want to create our color scheme. Okay, now this is one of the easiest parts. Well, not very easy, but one of the not too difficult parts. Okay, typically, like I probably said before, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just need to maybe make some adjustments to it and let it work for your automobile or whatever it may be. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go online and check out some brands and see what those brands are doing when it comes to colors. Okay, and then adapt some of those colors and work with them. Okay, or edit them, change them depending on what I need to do. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now. So right now I'm on Pinterest. Okay, so fashion brand color scheme. All right, so we're obviously seeing some things already. And I mean, like I've always said, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So if you find some colors that resonate with our brand, on a personal note for you, feel free to select maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 colors, make them your brand. So in your brand guide, for example, you would have your primary colors, maybe 2 primary colors and then 3 secondary colors, or 2 primary colors and no other color, depending on how much control you want to have over what the outcome of your brand looks like. All right. So let's look at this, right? This color scheme looks very nice, actually. And I think I can find some colors that I like here. So I like this pastel for many of the highlights. I also like this gold. So I'm just going to select this. So I took a screenshot. I've pasted it in my Canva documents. I'm going to go back to what I'm sharing so that we can continue selecting our colors. And like I said, we need to determine our primary colors and then our secondary colors. Okay. And it might be different for me and you, so you don't have to use the colors that I'm picking. Okay. All right. So I am trying to find the other colors. I don't want to use up a lot of time, so I'm just going to be as quick as possible. I like the colors from this design, actually. All right. So I'm going to take a screenshot here. Yeah, somebody's, Adibor, you're raising up your hand.
Yes, I wanted to share like a website that I found. No, that I found that may also be helpful. I don't know if it's something that you've used before. Coolors, it's COOLORS.co. So it basically helps to create like a color scheme based on, like, you can take one color and then create a nice color scheme that like works together. So I wanted to share that resource.
Yeah, thank you very much. It might have been in one of the many links that I sent earlier. So it's a very good website where you can actually create your color schemes as well. All right. So feel free to look through the websites. You can share a link. You can share a link to it maybe after the class or now if possible. Just share it on the WhatsApp group so that everyone can see. Okay. So I think we are done. I might have selected all my colors and we are good to go. All right. So okay, so I'm going to share my Canva screen back. Okay, so these are some of the colors that I selected. Okay, and I just need to create my 2 primary colors and then my secondary color. Okay, so I'm just going to create a big circle here for my 2 primary colors, right? And then duplicate them to create. So I want to have 2 primary colors and then 3 secondary colors. Okay, so there we go. Okay. All right, all right, all right. So I'm just going to select my primary colors from here now. Let me come here. I like this heavy gold color and this green. Okay. Well, not green, but so the reason why I like it is because it has some vintage luxurious feel. Okay. So that's one of the major reasons why I like it. So I'm going to select one of my secondary colors from here. I like this color because it's a very good color to contrast these colors because it's bright enough. Okay, it's not too dark. So I'm just going to come here and select this color. Okay, so I have that here. This is also another color that is going to work very well. So let me select this. Okay. And I'm making all these decisions based on my personal preference. And because I already have a set of colors that I know will work well with the brand. Okay. Also because I've seen some other brands use some of these colors targeting the audience that I'm after, right? Now, like I said, you don't have to invent the wheel. So I just picked this up from people who have done similar stuff, okay? And obviously I mixed it up because I didn't use one color scheme from one particular designer or one particular design, okay? And then also, in terms of executing your brand, even if you use the exact, that's what I said, even if you use the exact same colors with a different brand, right? Your execution of your brand can still be very different. Execution of your collaterals and how you play around with the colors, okay? So I just wanted you to have that at the back of your mind as well. All right, let me know if there are any questions so far. Looking at this color, I think I wanted to have some more green. To have that deep emerald color. Okay, yeah, so I've adjusted that. Also want to adjust this to look more golden. Good, 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 good. Good stuff. Okay. All right, so there we go. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions so far on all these about all decisions that I've made and why I made them if you don't understand. All right, so we can proceed then. Gift, can you hear me? I just saw your chats. Can every other person hear me? Let me just confirm. Gift says she can't hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So Gift, maybe you might have to do something with your device. Okay. So now we have our primary and secondary colors. Okay. So we can just label them primary and secondary colors. And then we're also going to get our color codes as well. The color codes are right here. Okay, once you come here, you see your color code already. Okay, so fabulous. We have our colors. Next thing we need our fonts. Okay, and we can always I want us to have two fonts, one serif font and one sans serif font. Okay, and the reason why I usually like that combination is because it's a very nice combination when you're working with designs many times, and usually also in fashion industry, it works very well. Sometimes you might want to use a script font as well. Okay, so script and sans serif or serif and sans serif. Okay, so one of the sans serif fonts, one of the serif fonts I like to use a lot is Okay, so primary fonts, all right, and then secondary fonts. Okay, so primary fonts, we can use DM Serif display. Okay, we can also use Playfair display. Well, I'm choosing to use Playfair display. Okay, you can choose another, you can choose a different font if you want. Okay, so this is the black version of Playfair display. So I think Playfair display is nice because it has different weights. Okay, let me see if DM Serif has, okay, so it's only in display. Okay, so I'm just going to use Playfair. Okay, so okay, so we have Playfair. All right. Then secondary fonts, we want to use the sans serif font. And notice you don't want to use the font you're using on your logo. All right. That's because you want your logo to still be as distinct as possible when you're working on your designs. It doesn't mean you cannot use the logo, the font used on your logo, but I typically would not advise you to use the font used on your logo because it just has a way of not making your logo look distinct. Okay, so let's find a nice font that also has a good weight as well. Okay, now I can't tell which ones are free and which ones are pro fonts. Okay, I can see the pro fonts now. Oh, I think open source will work. Our logo is collective. Okay, yeah, so you can use open source, and open source has a good width. It has both light, bold, and semi-bold, and yeah, semi-bold. So let's do that. Okay, so primary font is Playfair display, and then secondary font is open source. All right. So we have our colors, we have our brand, our type of font. Okay, so I'm just going to come here, create a new design, find a brand guideline presentation. All right. Now, like I said, Canva is so intuitive, you don't even have to start making all these things from scratch. There's a whole guide to lead you in the right direction. Okay. So let's see what this looks like. So we just need to find a nice template that works. All right. So let's see. I think I like this one because it's also a fashion brand. So let's just apply all pages and then start to work with this. Okay. So brand overview, our brand logo. So instead of our brand logo, what do we have? We have the name of our brand, which is Fabulous. Okay, and so instead of having it in this font, what do? We just, come up with, use our logo because our logo exists already. So I'm just going to come here and copy this, come to the Fabulous presentation and paste it. Okay. So what we can also do is you can have something, obviously we're going to change this to Playfair because Playfair display is our brand font. Okay. And here we change this to Playfair display. Okay. So you're starting to see how everything, and the essence of having this thing is such that your brand starts to become recognizable whenever they see those exact colors, whenever they see those exact fonts in the way that they are arranged, they start to affiliate the designs to your brand. All right. So what we can do here is have something, and this is a personal touch that I'm just adding. So I'm just going to say the So I'm going to increase the size to, let's say, 50. Okay. And then increase the line spacing, letter spacing, sorry. Okay. The Fabulous brand. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to align this to the right. Okay. So this is going to my front page. And there we go. All right, so I'm going to change this image because it's not really resonating with my design. So what do? I'm not going to pick my image from Canva. I'm going to go online because I want my designs to look very different. So let me go to raw pixels. Fashion. Okay. The reason why I like raw pixels is they have a nice collection of very different images from regular Unsplash and the kind of images you'll find on Canva. So just because I want it to look distinct, okay? I like these images. Now, another thing you also want to do with your brand is you want to be as personal as possible with your brand, and I'll explain why. Your brand is not so much about the product as it is about the people. So don't spend all your time trying to advertise your brand. Spend most of your time trying to convey emotions. All right. So instead of talking about how great your product is, it will be better for you to talk about or to display what your clients should feel like when they use your products. I don't know if you understand the difference. Let me know if you understand the difference, yeah? So instead of using an image like this, right? I mean, this image is showing exactly what we're making, which is clothes, of course, right? So instead of doing this, right, it will be much better for you to use an image that has an expression of the personality you want your brand to have, okay? So let's look at this, for example, right? This obviously looks like a very, very, I don't know the word to use, but it has a lot of emotion with it, right? And let's assume that this is the vibe that I want all my clients to have, right? In their 26 to 35, they're kicking ass, and stuff like that. So copy image. All right, so I'm going to use this image instead of an image like this. Okay, it might even be easier for me to use an image like this because it still has some level of mystery to it. Okay, so you want to keep your brand interesting instead of just spending all your time talking about how great your product is. All right, you will be going in the opposite direction of good branding. All right. So I'm just going to paste that image. And replace it. Okay. So now this has more character compared to whatever else you might have used here. All right. Good stuff. So obviously we're going to change all these images to things that, that work. Okay. So I'm going to change this font to our Playfair display and change this to open source. All right. Open source. Okay. So change this image to something fashion related. So now maybe we can search for some images from Canva. Or if you still feel like, getting your images outside, of course, why not? Okay. So I like this one. It has nice character as well. Okay. So what you need to do is to resize your image. What you are doing right now is you're creating a foundation for your design. Okay. You're literally giving people an idea of the kind of images they should use. So now, without saying it, you're already letting them know that in this brand, instead of advertising products, right, we are selling the emotion of what people should feel like when they use our products. Okay, so this is going to determine the kind of images you use in many of your campaigns. So instead of zooming into the details of how well sewn the cloth is, you are creating more emphasis on how our clothes make you feel. Okay, so I hope you understand exactly what's going on there. All right. So I'm going to select this, right? And just drop this there. Yep. So we are moving logo history. We don't have a logo history, so we just have the logo actually. Okay. So I'm just going to come here and write the logo. Okay. And then talk about how we came up with the design for the logo. Okay, so here we can just write something from our discovery. All right. Effortless, simple personality. Okay. So we'll just come here and then go back to this and paste them here. So here, what you want to write this brand embodies effortlessness Okay, or let's just say this brand represents an effortless and simple personality, right? I'm not a great writer, so if you're a good writer, you'll figure out all the nice stuff to write. All right, we're all about ease. Okay. So we've said stresslessness already, so no need to repeat that. Convenience and great quality. All right. Okay, so there we go. Right now, what do we need to do? Copy our logo file, which we already have shown. Okay, paste it right here. So obviously, in this context, our logo is going to be white, right? And then instead of this background, what do? We select one of our logo colors, okay? Which is, so personally, I would use this because this is one of our primary colors. So I'm just going to copy this color code, come here and change the color to this, okay? Okay, so I'll change this to white as well, because I just really want it to be very obvious, obviously for contrast reasons, all right? Now, about the logo, symbols and meanings. Okay, so we don't need all of this because, well, you can add all of this if you have the energy to write, okay? I mean, many of these things are the things that you use to sell your logo to your customer, okay? So because of time, I'm just going to move on, okay? So we have our colors already, good. So our colors instead of all of that, okay? So play fair display, right? So what do? We go to our previous page where we have done this, right? And paste this here. So we have our primary colors, obviously large. Okay. And then our secondary colors smaller. Okay. mean, I don't know the names of these colors, so I'm just going to paste the color code on top of it. Okay. What brand is this? Playfair Display. I'm just going to use open source. Okay, and change the color to white. All right, so I'll duplicate this. Okay. So you're just going to do this for all your colors. Okay, so because of time, I'm just going to move on. So you eventually do this for your colors. I mean, you don't have to write anything here. The colors are the things that you want to see. Okay. Okay, well, you can just have primary colors here. You can write primary colors. So obviously not this big. Okay, so primary colors. Okay. And something you can do just to make it look nice is do something that creates some level of proximity. All right, so watch how I'm going to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to use this box, right, to create some nice relationship. Okay. Okay, so we have primary colors. Maybe I'll make this white, or let me make this in the exact same color. Okay, and then here we'll have secondary colors. Okay, so it doesn't have to be this thick actually. So we can figure out something else. Okay. So, yep, there we go. Yeah, this is too thick actually, but you can reduce it because of time. I'm just going to move on. Okay, so logo fonts. So this is the logo. This is the fonts they use for the logo. All right. Now, if you see this thing, this is something that they usually do a lot when we are working with designs, especially for people who created their designs with some other complex softwares. Okay. You can do that as well, just to make your logos look nice, but it's not too necessary in essentially. Okay. So the logo font is collective. Okay. So we centralize this. Well, no, I'll just align this to the left. Okay. On group. Drag this down. Okay. So delete this, not necessary. Changes to Playfair. This is collective. Okay. Okay, so that's the logo fonts, right? Then we have exclusion zones. So exclusion zones are when your logo is in use, there are areas of your logo that should not be interfered with, especially when your logo is among different things. So it's like creating a safety stance for your logo. Okay, so it can be, well, not can, it will be, so you create an X height with a good distance away from your logo, basically. Okay, so in essence, maybe if there's anything at all maybe a color, maybe a box, a shape, an element, a whatever element it might be, right? It needs to have this amount of space before reaching your logo. Okay. So this is something you also have in your brand, guys, so that when people are using your logo, right, a typical designer who has a visual idea of how to use logos is obviously going to understand this. Okay, so this is to help many people who might not be designers, just so that they know what not to do with the logo. Okay, so we're going to do that with our logo, and I might not have to delete that. First, I'm going to change the background color to this. Okay, and then this to Playfair. Remove this. Okay, now I'm going to import the logo. Okay. All right. Okay. So we'll have something like this, right? And obviously you have to do this for your logo by yourself. So I'm going to do this. Okay. Just find the bounding boxes of your logo and ensure that you reach all the edges. Okay. And then you create a nice X height. I'm just going to move this away. Okay. Good. All right. So okay. Now you want to have this in your brand guide just to ensure that it was already said. And like I said, the point of having this is so that whoever is working with your brand knows exactly how to roll with it and not mess up with your brand. Okay. So this is a good distance. Okay. I'm going to duplicate this. Okay. And then I'll extend this. Okay. So just to create a nice ruler. Okay. All right. So duplicate this. Pressing Shift and Alt. Okay. And then duplicating this as well. All right. So good progress. We're using the exact same height now. And then we're going to duplicate this. Okay. On 180. Okay. Duplicate the X as well. And then duplicate this first, remove this. Then Okay. So yeah, there we go. Right. So it's supposed to, good. Okay. All right. So we can do away with that box in the middle. All right. So there we go. Right. So we have exclusion zones. And this is to ensure that whenever your logo is somewhere, nothing interferes with it. So you have the exact same thing done like this for the alternate version of your logo as well. Okay. So yeah, so this is if you're using a combination mark, right, you obviously have a vertical version, horizontal version, and then just have the icon. But here we just have the vertical and just have the horizontal and vertical, so no icon. Okay, so we'll just delete this and create your both version, create the two versions. Because of time, I'm just going to move on from here. Okay, change the font obviously, and then you create the position of your logo. So this is like having a safe distance to put your logo in, basically. Okay, and like I said, it's usually just for formalities. Okay, so you would literally just have all these locations where your logo can be, and it's going to make sense when we start to use it in our brand. Okay, except your logo is, if you design a logo where that logo cannot be positioned anywhere but the center, right, it means that you're not going to have it here, 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 and here. It has to be always in the center. Okay, if you design a logo that always has to be on one corner, it means you're not going to have this here. So be careful what you select, so you know that you are inferring where your logo can be and where your logo cannot be. All right. And then logo application. So you can talk about how your image will be used. When we start to work on our brand, creating social media designs, creating business cards, creating all these things, we're just going to be on a roll. Why? Because we've already set everything in motion. Okay, so when we're working on our brand design for a business card, we are not thinking about which color should I use, which, you know, we have our colors, we have our fonts, we have, so the only thing that we need to think about is what direction should this go, right? And once you have the direction, you're good to go with the elements. Okay, so it's going to make sense why we spent all this time learning principles of design, understanding why, creating a structure around your brand. Then once you've created a structure around your brand, you fire on. Okay, so, and then some reminders on how to use your logo. So don't change the color, don't crop the logo, don't add shadows or reflective. So you're going to do all of this for your logo as well. Okay, don't rotate the logo, don't put it over another illustration, don't reduce the opacity of your logo. Okay, and then you probably just have some nice details about your brand, which you must have gotten from your customer already. And then we've come to the end of creating a brand guide. Okay, so obviously the assignment is to create a brand guide for the already existing brand that we have created. All right, if you worked on a logo for your clients, this is a good time to create a brand guide for your clients. Okay, and then we're going to review that obviously next week. Okay, let me know if you have any questions so far. All right, no questions. Good. So I'm just going to go over some of the assignments that I got. And we're just going to go over them really quickly. I know it's already past 10. I really apologize. Sorry. Well, I didn't get a lot of assignments, so I'm just going to show all the ones that I got, and we'll move with that. Okay. All right, all right, all right. So I'm going to share my screen now. So this is a fabulous brand, right? This is obviously a different direction from mine, and it's also really nice. I like it. Two things. One is, you see, this is, it's actually a very small thing, right? Altogether, this has been actually good. So the small thing is just these tiny details, okay? So as little as finishing doing this, right, is going to make all the difference in your brand, in your file, okay? So compare that to what it looked like before. Okay, so all these tiny things are important details that you don't want to miss. Okay, so ensure that you cover up all those kind of errors, or not errors, but all those kind of tacky ends, so that your design looks as clean as possible. Okay. Good stuff. So yeah, apart from that, I like this. The only other thing that I'll also say is, I like the direction you went with merging them, which is really cool. I actually like it. So well done. The only other thing that I might want to add is the distance between here and here, except that was your design, of course, then by all means, good stuff. But if it wasn't on purpose, then you want to ensure that this distance is the same with this, just to create some form of symmetry. But if symmetry isn't what you were trying to achieve, then it's perfectly fine. So it looks good. I like it. Well done, well done, well done. This is a really nice design. All right, so we got a brand identity questionnaire, which already looks nice from what I can see. Okay, so we have a company mission statement. Really good, really good. Positioning statements. Nice. The benefit of your products. Nice. 5 words that represent your brand: artistic, thoughtful, warm, pleasantly surprising, inspiring, and exclusive. Okay, so my only suggestion to this would be, when you have dots like this, best is to align them to the left. Okay, because I don't know why Canva still hasn't figured out how to move your dots along with the words. So for now, you can just keep it like this. Value proposition, this or that. Oh, nice. I like this. I like this. This is good. So instead of, so now you actually have, you have the right one bold, and then the wrong one light. Really nice. I like that. I like that. So they're uppercase, they're conservative, approachable, luxurious, serious, professional, modern, elegant, and safe. Sweet. I like that. I like that. So what colors best represent your brand? So you have the colors already. Good stuff. What colors you don't like to see? Definitely not red. Nice. What emotions do you want associated with your brand? Love, 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 love. Really good stuff. What emotions don't you want? Do you not want? Okay. Sad, depressed, goofy. Nice. How would you describe your brand to a friend? Okay, nice, nice. I like this. So this is very, very comprehensive. I really like this actually. I really like this. So feel free to, you know, oh, this is really nice actually. This is very good. Well done, well done, well done, well done. I really like this. I really, really like this. So apart from that, I think we are done. No other assignments I got. Do we have any questions so far before we call it a day today? No questions. All right. I hope we all understand the assignments. So just create your brand identity from the logo you've created. Share your Canva links with me to my email address, and we shall proceed with designing the other brand collaterals tomorrow on Wednesday. And then on Friday, we're going to go into marketing yourself as a designer, creating mock-ups, and then creating a portfolio for yourself. And we will be done. We're very close to the finish line. Well done for traveling for so long. All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night.
You too.